Hi everybody, this is Dale. Welcome to my channel, Not Too Shabby Chic. I just wanted to pop in this morning and do a show and tell of some things that I've made, and hopefully they'll inspire you. And again, I eventually am going to do some more tutorials, and some of these things will be in some of the tutorials that I'll do. So first, I wanted to show you this is an envelope little flip out that you could put in a journal. You could glue the back down to your page, or you could have it just as a floating little thing, or give it as a gift just as it is. I just used envelopes, and I've used cardstock paper, and this is a piece of old jewelry that I had. It's a little, I don't remember if it's vintage or if I got it at Michael's, honestly. It looks old, and I just liked it. So you know, and did this trim. I did around the edges, and this is lace here. And then when you first open, there's a pocket here, and I have some little tags, or journal cards, not tags, just inked up for you to journaling spots. So those are cute. Got little birds. And then this is wallpaper that I used, and cardstock. And then this little fringy stuff that I had, and I kind of inked over it. And I inked everything with black. This is some trim that I got at Joann's, I think, that I really like, that I put here and here. And so that's when you first open it. Then you grab this, and you can turn it up. And this was a little glassine envelope that I put on here. I think, you know, it's been a minute since I made this, but I used napkin that I had. It's a fleur-de-lis napkin that's really pretty, and I used it on the flap. And then obviously this lace is one of my favorite laces, and I think I'm out of it actually, but I velcroed it down. And inside, I think I have nothing in there. It's a tuck spot where you can hide a letter, though I don't have anything in there. This is an image. I'm not sure where I got it, so I apologize, but it's a little card, and I just glued it down and inked around it. And I love the little bird and the red flowers. So that's where you go that direction. Then you flip it this way. So see, you already looked at this one. You flip it out. So it's 3 envelopes basically that you take the flaps and glue together. So this pocket, again, the same trims. It's just, again, a little bird tag that you can journal, and I stitched around. And I love this little bird. I think I got this from TLC Creates Vintage. I get a lot of stuff from her because she's very generous to give free stuff all the time, and then I've purchased quite a bit of things from her as well. Second envelope has this little devotion that I love, Balm of Gilead, and Jeremiah 8:22. Is there no balm in Gilead? And if you don't know what that is, you'd have to read that chapter where it talks about it. But the way we use it in the Christian faith, and in different denominations may or may not use it, but a balm is like a poultice or a salve that you put over something to heal it and to soothe it if you've got a wound or something like that. So this is talking about the experiences of suffering that God uses to our good. You know, we pass through those things, and it's hard sometimes. And we have burdens sometimes that we go through, and God doesn't prevent that. He allows us to go through those things, and sometimes we wonder why. But He's always there with His arms around us and walking with us if we choose to let Him. And He's there whether we recognize Him or not. But it's up to us to turn to Him instead of our sorrow, and focus on Him rather than on the circumstance or the burden. So basically, he's our balm. He's the one that can ease our pain. He's the one that can comfort us like nobody else. He can strengthen us in every weakness. You know, Paul said, in my weakness, I am strong. Therefore, I will boast in my weakness, about my weaknesses. So when people say there is a balm in our Gilead, Gilead's the place where you're going through a hard time and a rough place. But you have to know there is a balm there to soothe you, to cover you, to comfort you. And that's who God is. So that's the first part. And the second part is my portion. You know, God is our portion. And the scripture is Jeremiah 10:16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. And when you read the Old Testament, sometimes it can be hard to understand if you don't. You just have to keep reading it over and over and over, which I've done for years, and so I can understand it better. And God just kind of opens your eyes to see more and more the more you do it. This is talking about why he's our portion, uses this scripture. When we're able to lay hold of the fact that Jesus is our portion, he's everything, he's all we need, then do we, when we recognize that, do we truly possess all things? For how shall he not with him freely give us all things? That's scriptural. And sometimes we know that in our head, but we don't really trust God to do it. And so he can't do what we don't allow him to do in our lives and for us, because he's not going to force us. We have free will. And so this is from an old book. Nay, more, it says, for all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas, which was Peter, or the world or life or death or things present or things to come, all are yours. And you are Christ's, and Christ is God's. Shall we seek to appropriate all of his matchless love and grace and hope and courage and joy and fruit and power? What more can we ask or have? And that's referring to some New Testament scriptures, but he's everything we need. He promises us. He has unconditional, unmatchless love and grace for us. He gives us hope and courage, joy, power. I mean, if you're a Christian, you have the power that raised Jesus from the dead living in you. And I think we forget that, and the power of his name. So I just love this devotion. And then there's more on the back, the hope of Israel, my physician. And that's again talking about the balm in Gilead. And the hope of Israel is the hope of his bride, of Jesus' bride, the church. And Israel will be regathered. And so it's talking about how he is both our hope, and then he's the fruition of that hope. So we say, even so, Lord Jesus, come quickly. And that's something that we look forward to, when a day when sorrow will be gone, there'll be no more sickness or disease or tears and all of that. So it's a beautiful old devotion that I really like. This is a little journaling card that I got from Tsunami Rose, I believe, and it's Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And it's one of my favorite scriptures that I kind of quote a lot, especially if I'm feeling tired and weary. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get physically tired, that when you run, you're not going to get tired, or if you walk, you're not going to get tired. It's talking about walking and running in life, and that he'll renew our strength, if we go to him and allow him to. Then in Ephesians 3:16 and 17, I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love. And there's more after that. This little scripture is a wonderful passage to pray over people. And I do that a lot with my friends and people that I teach in a life group that I've had, and it's a wonderful prayer. If you don't know what to pray for someone, but you feel like you need to pray for them, or you're thinking about them a lot and they're on your mind, go to Ephesians chapter 3 and also Colossians chapter 3. They're great scriptures to pray over people. And you can't ever go wrong when you pray the scripture, because that's really what we should do. So that's what was in there. And this one, I already showed you. So that's the front pockets. And I always get mixed up. And then you fold it back up and flip it over. And on the back, I just had wallpaper that I had here, and that card you already saw, and this. So I made it so that, flip it back around, you fold it up that way, and you can glue this part down on your journal page, so when you open it, you can have journaling places and tuck spots. You could also not put all the decoration on it and just have journaling places here. But it's just made from 3 envelopes. It's really simple and easy to do. So that was a fun project. And then that ties it up. Another thing I did was some snippets. Everybody there for a while was, we were doing fabric snippets. And I'll show you my first one that I made. And I decided to do a paper snippet. So I used some recycled junk mail that I got, Physicians Mutual Life Insurance Company. And I just thought, I'll just use this. So it's good to use recycled pieces. So just like you do with the fabrics, and I didn't sew it this time much. I just glued different things, little pieces of paper, snippets of lace or fabric, and just glued them down and put buttons and, and decorated it with little things. And it turned out really cute, and I hate to cut it up. Snippets are made so that you could cut off pieces. So, I could cut it here. And I tried to do it where I could cut off a piece. I could cut it here or here, and there, or I could use the whole thing. It would, I don't know if you could do a spine with it on a journal or not, but you could certainly use it on the cover. And if you had a big journal, you could use it as a belly band. So they're fun to make, though, and really cute. And you can use a lot of scraps when you do these. So that was fun. And we might do a tutorial on one of those one day. Then my other snippet, this is a cloth snippet where I took some canvas, and you can probably see the stitching. There it is, how bad it is. My sewing machine was messing up. So this is a cloth snippet, and again, I just used I sewed like the fabrics down and used a zigzag stitch, if I can get that close enough. There it is, zigzag stitches. So on the fabric, and then I just glued again little scraps and snippets and buttons, and a safety pin with a piece of fabric or trim just put on there, and some Tim Holtz little tiny pictures, which I thought were so cute, some charms. And this is a piece of fabric. It's faux leather, but it's really pretty, and I just cut the flower out. But it was fun, and it's really cute. And again, you can cut little pieces out of it or use the whole thing. I am afraid so I'm hoarding it. And all this stuff are things that I've hoarded, and I know I shouldn't do that, and eventually I'm going to use them or lose them. I'm going to give them away, or I'm going to use them. This is a larger one that I did. That's a paper snippet. And it's just, everything's glued on. It's one of my favorites. I've got buttons and some designer paper, Tim Holtz images, some charms. I love this trim. I already told y'all in my last video on the tag journal, I used my last piece of that. I love it. This is a paper clip. This is leather. It says Hope with keys, and just little things, little Tim Holtz girl sitting there beside the Hope. Another piece of that flower design, and that's it. But it turned out cute. And again, if you had a giant journal, you could use it as a belly band, or you can cut pieces. And I didn't do as well in demarking, certain areas where you could cut without cutting into something else. So I think this was one of the first ones I made, and I had to figure out that when I do a snippet, I need to have places where I can cut it without, messing up something. And I didn't do that well on this one. I had this tiny little tag, those tiny little people, Tim Holtz folks. I love that little tiny tag. And this, I just used some cardstock for the base. But isn't it cute? But these are so fun. You can use up scraps. to do these. Now this was my pride and joy. This is my first cloth snippet, and it's not decorated. All I did was just, you know, I started with the canvas, and I used zigzag stitches, and I just took different laces and doily pieces and trims, and I just sewed them on. So you go through, and it's got neutral colors with a bit of mauve. I did put a little bulb pin here with some little charm dangles. There they are. I'm getting close so you can see it better. But it turned out really cute, and this I didn't decorate because you can cut it up, and there's another little bulb pin. Oops. Come on, there. So when you actually use it, you know, you can cut pieces off, and then you can embellish it more or decorate it and use it in your journals. I thought this would be really pretty for a spine, for a wide spine on a book, and I just have hoarded this too and haven't used it. But these are so fun, and there's no right or wrong to them, and they're great to have, and you should use them and not hoard them like I do. So those are the snippets, and that's the little envelope. And we're just about done. Then I went for a while and I made these, a lot of YouTube videos, and I can't remember to credit the right people in some of the groups that I learned, and then I watched YouTube videos. So these are paper flowers that I made. This one, you just kind of fold the paper and glue it on, and then I put this pretty jewelry charm with some tulle, and I did some gold sparkle trim, and I inked it with like a rusty ink, and the back, you know, it's from the cardstock, and it's a little thick. I wasn't thinking about that, but you could use it on a journal cover for sure, or you could put it on your head. I'm putting it on my head. You can't see my head. This is one that I did that's all out of tulle, and I put a vintage button in the middle, so it would be a little flatter to put in a journal or again on the cover, but this was just a fun one. It's just fluffy, frou-frou looking. This one is one of my favorites. I'm afraid to try it again. I did it out of tissue paper. And the edges, you see how they are? I just pulled them like that. When I've glued, you fold, and you put ever how many layers you want. So you start with one, and you do the next and the next. And so I put this little pearl thing in the middle with some tulle. But I just kept adding layers, and then I would just take my fingers and do that with the tissue paper. So that's one of my favorites. This one's a humongous one. It's kind of like old country 80s. I put the flower, and then I did the gold trim, and I made it out of cardstock, and you see the lace on the back. And I just glued lace on the back of each row and then put them all together with the lace in the middle. So it's a little flatter, but journal stuff, again, I've hoarded them. This one is one of my favorites. It's made out of blue cardstock. I inked the edges, the little tiny button, and the tulle in the back. And it's really cute. It's like a small one. Come on. And then that's the back. Kind of looks nasty. The backs of mine don't look good. This one I did a small one and made it into an altered paper clip, and I want to use it on something, but I just haven't done many things with blues. This has got turquoise and navy blue. Isn't that cute? With a little button and the tulle, and then there's the back of the paper clip. So those are fun, and that would be cute. This is a flatter one, so it'll work better. I only did 2 layers. With a little wood button with a bow in the middle. Come on. It's a clock button. So those are fun. And that's just something a little extra in there. They don't take long to do. You just fold into a circle, however how many layers you want to do. This is one that I really love, and I used a black doily for the back. I used napkin, a black and gold napkin that I've got, and a little bit of tulle in between, and then I put this piece from a necklace, and a little tag like tie at the top through the loop Isn't that cute? So there's that one. And then this is a little small one. It's a little thick, and it's just cardstock with, and I put the gold glitter on it and a little button, and but so those are fun to make. And there are tons of tutorials out there on how to do these. And I had some friends on one of the Facebook groups that wanted me to do a tutorial, and that was before I knew how to do it, and I didn't have a video camera. And I connected them with the videos of the people that I learned it from. And again, I apologize, I cannot remember who I first saw do these, but there are a lot out there, and they would say, but none of those look like yours. And they shouldn't. So if you try it, yours aren't going to look like everybody else's, because we're all different and we put our own spin on it. And these are just some little pockets. This was a goodie bag from Joann's, and you can glue it down or use it as a floating pocket. I just brought the trim all the way around. I folded the end of the bag up and stitched around it with a mauve trim here, and it's just a little eyelash trim with a button, and I put a couple little tags that I stitched around. And you can journal, and I was into inking everything in black. I love pink and black. I just think they go great together. This is from a digital kit from Linda Israel, I believe. And I made just, oop, that came loose. It's a little envelope. I had a piece of washi tape. And inside, and I inked, all around that. Inside is a little unicorn tag that you can write a little message on. I haven't done anything pink and black in a while, and I'll have to fix that. And then this tag is just cardstock that I stamped and inked and put eyelash trim. And see the back, so you can journal on both sides of that one. And I just did a little button cluster over some fabric, and then inside of the bag is a cutoff from paper pack that I stamped and paper punched this side, and then you have that to journal on. And this was a tag someone sent me in Happy Mail, and I just added the eyelash trim, and then you fold it out, and I stamped the trim and put this stamp, Matthew 19:26, with God all things are possible. And that is a fact, as they say. That's a fact, Jack. So if you don't know that, you need to, because it's so true. And I could testify that of some miraculous things that happened that shouldn't have. And this is a faux envelope. It looks like an envelope, smells like an envelope. You can't eat it, so it doesn't taste like an envelope. But it doesn't open. It's just fun to decorate them. And I use this suede-like button and this beautiful lace that I've hoarded because I can't find anymore, and then this pretty mauve trim. So I did it in mauves and taupe brown. See the back? So you just glue this down on a page and it becomes a pocket. Basically just a pretty pocket for your journal. So you could do it that way. I guess you could make it floating and make this journaling on the back, journaling place, but it's just pretty. And I love, again, that lace. This is an embellished postcard I did from a challenge. It turned out cute. I sewed and inked, and put a butterfly button. That's from an old piece of jewelry, vintage jewelry. And I added the dangles to it. And then this little envelope I made, and I sewed around it, inked it, stamped, and then inside I put cardstock and stamped blessed. And you open it up and it's just places to journal. And that little fancy stamp right there. So this is hidden in here, but we are blessed. You are blessed. There are things we all can be thankful for, even in the worst of times when you're going through bad things. It's good to remember the good things that you should be thankful for, and it will help you get through those hard times. And I put some old vintage stamps on here too. And in the back I used my coffee dyed paper with a doily and just stamped a rose and a butterfly and this messy stitching. So that's cute. This is a shaker tag I did, and I got the idea from somebody and I don't remember who, but I love it and I make these a lot. I've started making these more. It's upside down. Sorry, I'm trying to get it. Anyway, it's been in my box. But these, I put little tiny buttons and a couple little charms, like you saw the little eyeglasses somewhere right there. And I took a picture out of a magazine. It might have been Natasha with Treasure Books, but I don't really remember. So I aged the magazine picture and I glued Live Simply on it. Had a little bit of lace and trim. That's a piece of an earring that I put there. And this bulb pin, I punched a hole with an eyelet and then just put some fibers and this little bulb pin, and I stamped, this is a little metal tag I got at Joann's, I think, and I stamped that cross in there. I thought it was cute. And then on the back is a journaling spot. So I used a smocking stitch. I think a lot of the shaker tags I've seen don't have the journaling space in the back. They're just, the shaker tags, which are adorable. And I've, made a couple of those too. They're fun. But it's really cute to add the picture, and you don't need as much shaker stuff. But isn't it cute? And I've hoarded that because I didn't want to, wanted to use it. This is just a little cluster that I did with paper and fibers, and put a little angel and some music paper, an old vintage button there, the bulb pin, and then you can journal on the back. So you can leave it floating, or you could glue it down and use it for a tuck spot. This is a shaker tag I made for my grandbaby, great-granddaughter, and I don't really like it, so I'm going to redo it, but I made a long one and I did the zigzag stitch, and I put a Raggedy Ann picture at the top, and then it says baby, and it's got all kinds of little fun shaker stuff so you can shake it. And then on the back I've got You're My World, so it was really cute. And then the trim at the top, eyelet thing, and then I've got the fibers, and I love this little charm. It's a little girl. Come on, holding a teddy bear, and she's cute. And I think either somebody probably sent me that in Happy Mail, and I don't remember who it is. But anyway, that's a shaker tag with just the picture at the top and the stuff at the bottom. So it's kind of cute. Although my granddaughter thought it was creepy. This is another one where I used, I think on this one I just used cardstock, and then I put a Tim Holtz flower and butterfly, and I did a piece of coffee dyed doily and put memories, and it's got a little lock and just little tiny buttons and pearl beads. Isn't that cute? And it's a shaker tag. Then fibers and just the key, because the lock's here, and so I wanted a key on it. And then you can journal on the back. So those are really fun and cute. I think I've already shown some of these cluster things. So anyway, that is that today. So I just wanted to share some of those things with you, and hopefully maybe you haven't thought of some of these things, or the design, or the way that I embellished it, and it will give you inspiration to try some new things yourself. So I hope you have a blessed day. Love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and hit the bell so that you can be notified when I do other videos. When I get to 500 subbies, I'm going to do another big giveaway. I just did one for 300 subbies that Lori Authors with Whispering Spirit won, and I'll be doing an even bigger one when I reach 500. I think I was at 375 and somebody unsubscribed, so I'm sorry that they did, but that happened. So I'm at 374. So when I get to 500, I'm going to do another huge giveaway, so everybody share. And I'm also running a contest that I have on a video, where if you have 10 people you recommend and they come over and comment to that video that's in my channel, and tell me who sent them so that I can track for those people. And they have to also have their subscriptions where I can see them. I have to be able to verify it. But every person that recommends 10 people and they come to the channel and subscribe and let me know who they were, every person gets something. You're going to get a Happy Mail prize. And then the person that's able to get 30 subscribers, new subscribers for me, they're going to get a journal or a big box of supplies or something like that. I'll talk to the person that wins if they do. So we've only got about another 2 more weeks, unless I extend it a little bit. And I think I've gotten 3 or 4 subscribers from 2 or 3 people. So thank you guys for doing that. And everybody, feel free to participate. And I just thought it would be a fun thing to do and help grow my channel so that I can get to 500 and do another fun giveaway. But that's that. And I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. Hope you guys have a blessed day and know that you are loved and that I care about you. And I'm so excited that you have joined my channel, that you listen to my videos, watch my videos, and I hope you are inspired. And I welcome comments and things that you might be interested in, that you might want to see. Let me know, and know that I listen and I pay attention. I'm just a little bit slow, and I can't help that because of time factors right now, but I promise I'm going to try to get better. But anyway, have a great day, and don't waste your day. Bye.